Hello and sunny Bonani. It's 4 minutes after 8 Central African time. Welcome to Baku City Circuit. Welcome to Azerbaijan. Welcome to the 13th race of this BrakeAway Racing League All-Star season. As you can see, we have 18 minutes in which to set the starting grid. 15 contenders, including, of course, our championship protagonists, that being Mex and the likes of Duke, not forgetting, of course, the ever-consistent Sage figure of speech. Those three are our top three in the fight for the championship. One of the McLarens not wasting any time, heading straight out to the circuit. So we'll just make sure that you can see everything that you need to see there. Tiago, the first of the two McLarens, making their way out to the circuit as things currently stand. It is Duke who leads the championship standings now at 202 points. So it's been a long fight, a long slog, but the superstar Duke now finds themselves in control of the championship, but not by a huge margin. Duke has 202 points. Mex has 197 points, and Sage Figure of Speech, third in the championship with 130 points. Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, has 114 points. They're fourth in the championship standings. Tato, a.k.a. Loveness, is currently fifth on 101 points. Caboza is sixth on 99 points, followed by Tiago on 89 points in seventh place. Donathan Laka is 8th. Zotal is 9th. Billy Hendricks is currently 10th in the championship standings. Well, that is the situation, the scenario as things currently stand. Thank you for joining us. So welcome to this 13th race of the BrakeAway Racing League All-Star season. We'll be taking a close look at how our early contenders are going to be looking here at the Baku City Circuit. As you can see, it's a street circuit. The walls are treacherous. The walls are very, very close at hand, and you dare not get acquainted with them lest your car, of course, be damaged. Duke Takar is in firm command of this championship with 15 and a half minutes of the session to go. They send the Papaya Orange McLaren screaming down to begin the first push lap of the day. 18 minutes of qualifying. Duke is using all of the track, trying to carry as much speed as possible through that first corner. There's a slow-moving car that Duke will do well to avoid, which he does. Now Duke is going to be looking to complete this first sector as best as they possibly can, utilizing a bit of the battery down this DRS straight before this left-hander so close to the limits there, as he nails that apex through the left-hander, rides the curve, a little bit of contact through the right-hander there, but still carrying as much minimum speed as they can. 35.0 is that split at the end of Sector 1. It is a margin which we're going to watch very, very carefully. Duke's teammate Tiago Maestro has crashed out of this session early doors. Right here is where Tiago seems to have crashed. Oh, and Duke almost goes careening into their teammate, and seemingly they might have to abandon that push lap. Tiago was crashed and almost compromised Duke completely. I do wonder if Duke is carrying on here. It seems like he has not quite abandoned this push lap, so he's just going for a banker lap here. But of course, compromised quite significantly. Sector 2 split of 117.297. That is how Duke's middle sector panned out. And now he's going to slalom through these final sequences of corners before he points that car straight down this roaring start and finish straight to complete their lap. Caboza goes with a 141.142. Duke, whose lap was compromised, now comes across the line with a 143.176, so a couple of seconds behind. Duke's nemesis, that being Moteo Mekwa, a.k.a. Mex, has just come across the line. They've seen their teammates be quickest, but as I say that, it's Man Ray who tops the timesheet with a 140.810. Man Ray in good nick, feeling racy, feeling fast out here at the Baku City Circuit. in that Alpine, looking very, very good. Let's see how Man Ray's teammate Tindo will fare as the day goes on along. But this, however, is Moteo Mex, who is looking to make their mark on the top of the timing sheet. But can that be done? Screaming down, it's a 1 minute 39.617. It's a sensational push lap by the V-Carb superstar. Brilliantly done, beautifully done over there. Now, we are watching Sage Figure of Speech, currently third in the driver's standings, another protagonist in this fight for the championship. Here they come now, slaloming through these fast corners before pointing that red-hot Ferrari straight down towards the line. What'll it be? The benchmark is a 39.617. How close can Sage Figure of Speech get? It's pedal to the metal now towards the line. 140.251 is nothing to be scoffed at. It is the second fastest time of the day. Now, Mfundo, where are they in the pecking order? Now making the way, completing the middle sector with a 117.087. Again, nothing to be scoffed at. So Mfundo may yet be giving the likes of Duke Takar a headache or two at this rate. As I say that, Duke goes fastest with a 38.590 by some margin, the quickest lap of the day. Here comes Mfundo towards the line for the metallic green Aston Martin. It's going to be the ninth quickest time, 141.870. Mfundo with some work to do. Only the first run, remember. We've got about 11 and a half minutes of the session to go. What can Mfundo do before all is said and done? It is Duke who is in provisional pole position, a scorching hot 38.590. Duke from Mex from Sage Figure of Speech. And Man Ray is currently fourth fastest with a 140.810. Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, set the fifth quickest time of the day. Caboza currently sixth, having had 2 bites of the cherry. Marshy with the seventh fastest time. Their teammate Zotal gallivanting all over the world. Zotal, of course, was having the time of their life out in Japan over the past week. Do wonder when we'll see Zotal back in the cockpit. Fensei is 8th quickest currently, and Mfundo running now in P9, presumably making their way back towards the pit. Donathan Laka, Tindo, Billy Hendricks have yet to give it an almighty push. And as I say that, would you look at that? Tato, a.k.a. Loveness, has entered the fray to make their mark. And we're going to see how they will fare. This, however, is Donathan Laka, DJ, musician extraordinaire. Donathan Laka currently 8th in the championship standings, having amassed 77 points. Let's see how the Baku City Circuit will treat them. Donathan Laka looking to make their mark. Looking to keep the first sector clean. Needs to nail the execution in these corners, using all of the track there to Donathan Laka, but not coming perilously close to making contact with the walls there, so nicely done. Looking to carry as much speed as possible. Now completing the first sector with a 35.592. Again, decent, all things considered. We've seen some really quick times with a sector 1 split of a 35.0. Oh, so Donathan Laka is within the ballpark. A little bit of contact there over the wall on the left. Oh, came perilously close there through the castle section. It is oh so narrow from the vantage point of these really, really wide generation of Formula 1 cars. Donathan Laka now sending it screaming towards the heavy braking zone coming up, which will then send him rolling down towards the hill to complete the middle sector. Rides the curve there through the left-hander. And now into the braking zone. Will complete the middle sector with a 1 minute 16.015. That is very, very, very pacey indeed. Donathan Laka enjoying themselves out here in the Baku City Circuit on the limit. It's pedal to the metal stuff as the blue Williams car comes screaming down towards the line. What'll it be? The benchmark is oh so great. Here comes Donathan Laka looking to challenge some of the top runners. It's the fifth Fastest time of the day, 1:40.810. How fares the Ferrari in the hands of Billy Hendricks? The answer is a very, very fast middle sector as well. Billy Hendricks looking to make their mark. Their teammate is currently third in the standings. 8.5 minutes of the session to go. Here comes Billy for the pride of Ferrari, of the Scuderia, of the Tifosi. Towards the line now. It's the fourth fastest time, running line astern with their teammate. P3, P4 are the Ferraris, looking very, very comfortable in the 1:40.3 in the case of Billy Hendricks. Sir Lancelot currently making their way through the beginning of that middle sector, so we'll hop on over instead to Tindo to see how they're faring. Lots and lots of work to do for the veteran Tindo. Just a single championship points in this entire season. 13 races in. Tindo has it all to do here tonight. And, of course, throughout the rest of the season. Now sending it screaming towards the line. What'll it be for Tindo coming across the line? It is the 12th fastest work to do, 1:46.125. Sir Lancelot is back in the fray. Of course, their teammate in Quali had been seeing quite a lot throughout the season. So Sir Lancelot has a lot of catching up to do. Just the 3 championship points accrued since the start of the season. So work to do for the Kick Sauber. Will in Quali A, be joining the race, or B, be cheering on their teammate. Sir Lancelot does really well to come across the line. 7th fastest time of the day, 1:41.054. It is Duke from Mex from Sage Figure of Speech. Those are your top runners. As we catch back up now with Man Ray, who was looking who would seem to be gaining more than 0.3 of a second. But as we hopped on board with Man Ray, it seemed like the slow-moving Billy Hendricks had to get out the way. Hopefully that did not compromise Man Ray's time too much. 1:40.810. Man Ray currently in the top 5. Can he stay there? Can he improve? Can he leapfrog at least one of the Ferraris as the Alpine comes screaming towards the line? It's Man Ray on the limit. It's Man Ray to cross the line with an overall gain of about 2.5 tenths. But unfortunately, that does not move the needle. Meanwhile, Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, finds almost 0.8 of a second relative to their previous best. It's up to P4 for Debo Crocodile, driving that Red Bull. Beautifully done. Demon Hour from the back is Thiago Maestro. Commiserations there, crashing out early in this qualifying session. Thiago has it all to do here from the back of the pack. Tato, a.k.a. Loveness, is here. Is that a broken front right wing end plate? Yes, it is. Tato, sadly, having made a little acquaintance with the walls out here in the Baku City Circuit on their first push lap, their first proper run. Oh my gosh, I do wonder if, at this point, Tato might just be coming into the pits. He's definitely not moving fast enough to have a say on the top time. So presumably Tato is coming all the way back towards the pit to fit a new front wing. Meanwhile, it seems Duke did not quite find the time that they were looking for on another push lap on a set of soft tires. Let's catch up instead with Moteo Mekwa. Oh, yellow flag on this portion of the track. Mex had to now abandon that push lap because of that yellow flag. So that is not going to be representative. Ooh, what is going on there? Slow-moving Debo, who's come to a complete stop here. And Debo, you're going to cause all these yellow flags. You better keep them moving. Mex is going to have to go again from scratch. Seems Capoza is on a push lap, so we'll stay with them, the V-Carb Superstar. Let's see now how the middle sector will pan out for Capoza. Heavy on the brakes for the V-Carb, but it is still a valid lap. Now in towards this left-hander. Capoza had to catch it there. He did gain about 0.4 of a second before that crucial mistake. Sadly, that will cost him dearly. Currently in the 1:41.1. That 0.4 of a second would have really seeing Kaboza challenge the likes of Jonathan Laka at the very least, but he lost a crucial amount of time. It's still an improvement, 140.828, but it could have been more, and Kaboza knows that. Will be kicking themselves. Meanwhile, Sitch figure of speech, the pride of the Scuderia, the pride of Ferrari, with 3.5 minutes of the session to go. Now, heading towards the braking zone, looking to conclude that middle sector, carrying so much speed, rode the curve there to the absolute limit, did Sitch figure of speech. Now, in towards the braking zone, they've gained about 300 every second, 115.133 is that split at the middle sector for the Ferrari superstar, looking to leapfrog Mex, who is currently on their outlap. What can Sitch figure of speech do? It's a last gasp effort, a last hurrah, possible Hail Mary here, but it looks like he's angling towards the pit lane, or is he? Yes, Sitch figure of speech abandons that push lap, feeling that, nope, they did not gain nearly enough time as they would have wanted. Oh, Nuccio seems to have come to a complete stop here in the middle sector. So they are going to have to go all the way around again. Meanwhile, Fence is on the verge of only beginning another push lap. So let's see instead what is going on with the likes of Enfrendo, who is coming all the way back into the pits. Enfrendo currently P13, 141.660, the best that they could do up until this point. We saw Tato, a.k.a. Loveness, having abandoned their push lap earlier on. Kaboza, at this point, seemingly might not have enough time to come back into the pits and go for another push lap. So that will be that. Kaboza will hope that some of the contenders behind him cannot find any improvement. This is Tato. This is Loveness. This is the Aston Martin superstar making the way to the second corner! A huge correction there, costing Loveness dearly. Tato is still running, so he's just going to, well, pick up the pieces and try and carry a little bit of momentum between now and the end of this push lap. I do wonder if he's going to abandon it. Nope, he's going to keep it going. He does not want to take any chances. Just about a minute and a half remaining, give or take. So Tato knows that it is now or never. A Hail Mary final lap. A one-shot qualification for Loveness. A minute and a half of the session to go. As we see some of the top runners now coming out for their finest push laps. Loveness took a lot of the curve there through that right-hander into the castle section. Treacherous. The walls are so inviting in a very treacherous, threatening way, but Loveness threads the needle through those tight and twisty corners. Now, making their way through the fast sequence of corners coming up, looking to conclude the middle sector. Heavy braking zone coming up for Loveness. Shifts down and tries to avoid making mega contact with the wall. Loveness is still carrying a lot of speed now. Concludes the middle sector with a 15.577, which is a little bit competitive. Loses the rear a little bit now. Found the exit and is trying to carry as much speed as they possibly can. Now, it's the fast sequences of corners. Loveness, whose first push lap was compromised and saw himself losing a front right wing end plate, now sees his lap valid and sends that Aston Martin screaming towards the line with about half a minute of the session to go. It's Loveness looking to leapfrog all these contenders, and it's P8 for the Aston Martin superstar. The best that they could do. Meanwhile, Donathan Laka has abandoned their push lap. Who is that coming towards the line? Is it Kaboza? A second bite of the cherry, looking to improve, and look at that, goes all the way up to P5. Kaboza, the pride of V-Carb, currently alongside Mex, goes fifth. Quickest. Debo Crocodile, a distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, is further back relative to some of our top contenders here. So instead, we're going to hop on over to the likes of Duke Sakar. That is a compromised lap from Duke. It's a slow-moving Alpine, which completely tanks Duke's push lap. Meanwhile, Mex, the best that they could do is at 39.445. It does not look like anyone will be challenging Duke. So he had to give that up because of that slow-moving car. Debo Crocodile has a chance here to leapfrog some of these other contenders. He's found about half a tenth now through that first sector. What can Debo Crocodile do? Sir Lancelot is the other contender that is currently still running. Ditto, Fence, Man Ray, and Loveness on other parts of the track. Debo takes a lot of curve there through that slower corner. Now into the end of that second sector, and Debo has found about a tenth and a half here. He was at 140.285, so at the very least, it looks like Sitch figure of speech is under threat. Possibly Billy Hendricks, if Devo can make this final sector an absolute barnstorming one. Here comes the Red Bull towards the line. He was P5. He moves up to P4 and splits the Ferraris at the end of his qualifying session. How about that from Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator? Sir Lancelot is still out on track, but it does not look like they are finding any improvement. So there it is, folks. It is Duke in pole position alongside their nemesis who shares the front row, Moteo Mekwa. Next in P2, Billy Hendricks is running in third. Debo Crocodile also on that second row, P4 for them. Since Figure of Speech is on that third row alongside Caboza. Fence and Man Ray are P7 and 8. Loveness will start this race in 9th. Marshy 10th. And then we have Donovan Laka in 11th. Sir Lancelot is that P12. Sensei left their car on AI, messed up my last lap. So says Man Ray. So, yeah, a little bit of points of contention there. Commiserations there for Man Ray. We saw how Duke's final push lap was also compromised towards the end. But there you have it, folks. So Lancelot 12th, the Neutral 13th, and Tindo currently 14th. Tindo will start this race, P15. Tiago, who sadly crashed out at the beginning of this qualifying session, will start this race as the back of the pack, P16 for the other McLaren. So McLaren, it's a grid pretty much, sandwiched by those two McLarens. Well, folks, how about that? Welcome to Azerbaijan. Welcome to the Baku City Circuit. Thank you for choosing BrakeAway Racing League as your league of choice here tonight. Please remember to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It's a 6-kilometer circuit, one of the longest on the Formula One calendar. And, of course, a very, very, very quick circuit. Sadly, Enquali does not seem to be making their presence felt in this year's race, Sir Lancelot. So it is your responsibility to fly the flag for Team Kick Sauber. Welcome, everybody, to this showcase out here in the beautiful country of Azerbaijan. We will soon be going racing around this circuit, which has a total of 20 corners, some of which are indeed slight kinks and not necessarily hard corners. Of course, it's a wide and open circuit, tight and twisty at certain other points. Very long main straight, as you have seen, and very treacherous at points. So it is a circuit because of its treacherous nature and those close walls. It is a circuit that does tend to serve up a safety car or two, which does introduce an element of jeopardy towards this race. Here we go. It is 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The only time South Africans look forward to the lights going out. We are in Baku. And it is Duke who hangs on to that P1 spot. Oh, contact between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Debo Crocodile loses a little bit of momentum, but he hangs on to that P4 spot. Meanwhile, Caboza has lost a position or two, or have they? Fighting back is Caboza side by side with the Ferrari, gains a position, and they run line astern here at the top of the field. Duke and Mex manage to hang on to their positions, and Billy Hendricks is also hanging on to the coattails of the top two. The rest of the field trying not to get too feisty, and they come through this circuit, which is so treacherous if you're not very, very careful. So the top 5 running line astern, Caboza, the big winner there. Thiago Maestro, meanwhile, starting at the back of the pack, gaining 4 places. The very, very, very advantageous McLaren in this current scenario. There are your pit stop strategies. 1 stop expected at around between lap 15 to 25. Yellow flag. I've got some slow-moving cars. It looks like Billy Hendricks had a huge moment alongside an Alpine as well. Tindo and Billy Hendricks. Oh, there's some wings flying over there in the midfield. So sadly, Billy Hendricks was looking so good. Oh, Tindo taking a lot of the curves and taking some damage to their car at this particular point. Now Duke and Mex are fighting it out as usual. The top two drivers have built a gap of about 2.8 seconds between themselves and the P3 running Debo Crocodile. Duke comes across the line. Of course, the fastest driver, well, because they've crossed the finish line first at the end of that initial lap. On board we go with Sitch Figure of Speech, who is hunting down Debo Crocodile. It's P3 versus P4. Behind Sitch Figure of Speech is Kaboza, who seems to be looking very, very comfortable at the start of this race. On board now with the V-Carb Superstar, applying the pressure. Wider line, misses the apex through the left-hander, does Kaboza, but still does not lose too much momentum. Takes a lot of curve there, did Kaboza, trying to stay in touch there. There's a McLaren, or the Aston Martin of Loveness, making a lot of headway, a lot of overtakes there to Loveness versus Fensei, who is struggling to keep these guys at bay. On board we go now with Donathan Laka, who has gained 3 places since the start of this race. Tight and twisty castle section that these 3 contenders will have to navigate now, trying not to make contact with those perilous walls of the castle section. Donathan Laka versus Loveness versus Fensei. A 3-way fight in the midfield here, ostensibly for that P6 spot. Now through the fast left-hander as these contenders look to complete that middle sector. Heavy on the brakes now for the Williams Superstar, trying not to make contact with the wall there. He navigated that cleanly enough. Now through the left-hander, it takes a little bit of curb, which does not compromise that Williams car, thankfully. It's a set of medium tires, of course, for Donathan Laka, hunting down the hard tires in the hands of Loveness and Fensei ahead. Now, down the main straight, it's Donathan Laka on the attack. Donathan Laka on the outside. Donathan Laka screaming towards turn number 1 as Scripto Titan, aka the 86er, joins us live from Japan. Oh, would you look at that? Donathan Laka now sandwiched between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Donathan Laka, feisty Donathan Laka, looking towards the inside, towards turn number 2, but opted to live to fight another day and not quite going for it at this particular point in time. Slee is also live from Japan, enjoying the breakaway race. It's great to have you in the comment section as Donathan Laka overcomes Loveness. A little bit of contact there between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin behind. Donathan Laka moves up to P6, looking very, very comfortable out here at the Baku City Circuit. Donathan Laka in feisty fighting mood, and now Loveness and Fensei have it all to do. This is the vantage point from the P8 running Fensei. These 3 hard tire contenders, these 2 hard tire contenders have been Fensei and Loveness, giving Donathan Laka a lot of headaches, but those mediums still in that advantageous position. Early doors here in this third lap of a total 26. Wow, that was beautifully entertaining there from these 3 midfield contenders. And let's see now how they will fare as they look to complete that middle sector. Loveness has already damaged that front right wing end plate, as you can see. So downforce compromised, and his turning capacity, of course, one of the reasons which impacted that position, which was effectively lost. So he's gonna have a fight back on his hands. Meanwhile, in the battle for the podium places, it is Kaboza versus Sitch Figure of Speech versus Debo Crocodile. Through the left-hander goes the Red Bull, followed closely by Sitch Figure of Speech, who is leaving nothing to chance. Got the DRS, does the Ferrari Superstar. Sitch Figure of Speech, will they go for it? On the inside, no, biding their time. The Ferrari trying to apply the pressure on the Red Bull in the hands of Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, carrying as much speed as they possibly can through now towards the end of this first sector. Kaboza hanging on to the coattails of the Ferrari. Highly experienced contenders are Sitch Figure of Speech, Kaboza, and Donathan Laka. Rides the curve, does the Ferrari. Not to the extent of being compromised versus Debo Crocodile, Bangani, and Guenya. In firm control, in firm command of that Red Bull through the tight, twisty castle section. I'll tell you what, Kaboza has lost a little bit of ground now trying to catch up through the faster corners. Let's go, Sage Figure of Speech, says the 86er in the comment section. Galilitsang Kagawaithi cheering on the Ferrari, as is the case, of course, in real life. Oh, Kaboza comes a little bit unstuck there through that corner, loses even more ground and loses DRS, as Sage Figure of Speech will now most possibly be lining up a possible overtake. But it does not look like he's close enough. Debo Crocodile absolutely sends it screaming down the main straight as Duke sets another fast lap. Yes, Sage Figure of Speech is going to huff and puff, but will not be close enough to go for it. Or will they dive for it? No, not necessarily. Debo Crocodile almost daring Sage Figure of Speech to have a slight twitch at the wheel there, as turn one almost had a moment of a twitchy rear there for the Ferrari. So work to do for Sage Figure of Speech. Use up a lot of their battery, as you can see. Less than half of that battery power remaining. Look at that yellow bar. The red light flashing on the back of the Red Bull. Debo Crocodile also trying to harvest a little bit of power in this fifth lap. A lot of racing still to go. A lot of prospective overtakes. Debo is playing the ERS game, says Zotal in the comment section. Absolutely leaving nothing to chance, making Sage Figure of Speech drain all of their power as the Ferrari tries to harvest a little bit of energy now. Here they make their way through the treacherous castle section. Who will keep it together? These two have done really, really well to shake off Kaboza, who is now still out of DRS, 1.2 seconds behind this particular piece of action. Work to do for Kaboza, who comes into your shot to put it back there. Beautiful overhead shot we get as Sage Figure of Speech looks to keep applying the pressure on Debo Crocodile, who was daring the Ferrari driver to see who will blink first and end up making the first mistake. Beautifully handled by Debo Crocodile at this particular point in the race. Sadly, Sir Lancelot, Man Ray, and Tendo have had to come into the pits much earlier. That's further down this field. Meanwhile, Thiago, Loveness having an almighty tussle. As you can see, sadly, Loveness with that damaged wing losing a lot of ground as this mini DRS train starts taking shape. Oh, would you look at that? Billy Hendricks on Fence side by side, and Billy gets ahead. Meanwhile, Thiago in the back also manages to go on the inside of the Mercedes in the hands of Nuccio, but Nuccio is fighting back. Now in towards turn number 2. Tries they might. The Mercedes Superstar almost breaks themselves and almost gets acquainted with the wall there through turn number 2, which results in them losing ground to Thiago Maestro, who is galloping ahead on those soft tires. Thiago on a a daring strategy, if I could put it that way. Work to do for Thiago Maestro. Bend the car in qualifying, had to start all the way down on P16. Went for a daring strategy, opting to start this race on a sort of soft. And this is a circuit which can be unforgiving once those softer tires start to go. So a lot of work to do for Thiago Maestro. Perhaps Thiago was banking on a safety car at this particular point. An early safety car. Sadly, Loveness lost connection, but re-established their presence in the lobby. So Loveness is back and will have to fight it out from the vantage point of P12. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there from Thiago Maestro, whose soft tires, perhaps 6 laps in, are starting to complain a little bit now. Oh, interesting line taken by Fence, a little bit ahead. Loveness is sadly dipping in and out of the session as Thiago opts to brake much, much later than the Red Bull ahead. Now completing the middle sector. Thiago still setting faster sector times relative to his personal best. Now on the gearbox on the back of the Red Bull. Through the fast corners they go. Who will blink first? Who will be more daring as the Red Bull almost gets acquainted with the wall on the left-hand side? It's Thiago Maestro with the barely any battery power remaining. Oh, the Red Bull pulls away. The Red Bull speed down the straights versus the battery power, of course. Thiago Maestro tries their might to get this beautiful helicopter shot. Might not have enough to overtake the Red Bull. Thiago has to bide their time. They've wasted so much of their battery fighting that particular battle. Meanwhile, up in the podium fight, Sage Figure of Speech was less than 0.2 of a second behind Debo Crocodile. Man, oh man, oh man, it is Red Bulls under duress, under pressure, all over the track. It is Fence under pressure, lower down the pecking order, and Debo Crocodile huffing and puffing, trying to keep Sage Figure of Speech at bay for that P3 spot. Now, as I say that, these two have fallen almost 10 seconds, 9.3 seconds, and counting behind the top two contenders. We will catch back up with our top two championship contenders, that being Duke Sakar and, of course, Moteo Mekwa, a.k.a. Mex. They've had a quiet race up in the front as the rest of the field scraps and fights to be able to have a say on the race results over here. The 86 are cheering on Sage Figure of Speech, currently fighting it out, fight of their lives versus Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman. Oh, but through these fast corners, Debo is absolutely gone. That gap now 8/10 of a second, edging towards 9/10 as Sage Fig has to use up so much of their battery power trying to stay within touching distance. Tucked into the slipstream of the Red Bull as you get this sweeping helicopter shot, inches closer and closer, but will not be close enough as they make their way now towards turn number 1. But Sage Fig did very, very well to be able to bridge that gap now. It's about 3/10 of a second. Will he go for it? The answer is possibly a resounding yes, but as he tries, use a little bit of that battery power. Debo carrying so much speed, forcing Sage Figure of Speech to use up so much of their battery power. Yellow flag on another portion of the track. Oh, it looks like Tiago may have fallen foul and lost a lot of momentum, bringing out the yellow flag. Sage Figure of Speech still here. Towards the end of that first sector, close but no cigar on the back of the Red Bull. So these two will huff and puff and try to blow the other away. Through the treacherous castle section they go. Caboza, they tried to shake him off, but he's still within 1.2 seconds of this fight for P3. Caboza. Now, everyone in the top 7 on those medium tires. Caboza, in this fight for the podium, may yet have something to say, depending on when they will come into the pits for a change of tires. So, this fight still raging on in the 8th lap of a total 26. Much closer is Sage Figure of Speech this time around as he threads the needle, slaloming through those fast sequence of corners. Sage Figure of Speech is closer at this particular point of the straight than they were. Side by side they go. Debo Crocodile tried the best that they could as Sage Figure of Speech makes it a clean overtake now before they get to turn number 1. And despite them having been fighting it out, they've managed to eke out even more of a gap between themselves and Caboza, who is now 1.7 seconds behind this piece of action. Duke, once again, has been peerless in this race. In the 9th lap of a total 26, running 3.7 seconds ahead of their championship challenger, their nemesis in this fight for the BrakeAway Racing League All-Star season, that being Moteo Mekwa. Duke, who finally clawed their way up to the top of the championship standings after fighting tooth and nail over the course of the season, is now, of course, before the start of this race, Duke found themselves on 202 points, and Mex, who was behind them, was on 197 points. So this will just need to be another cool, composed, controlled performance from Duke to be able to extend that advantage in the championship. Here comes Mex, Moteo Mekwa, as Billy Hendricks becomes the first driver penalized for track limit violations. Not the best endings to that middle sector for Moteo Mekwa, as you saw over there. Lost even more ground, a couple of tenths lost to Duke, so now that gap between the top two, 4.2 tenths of a second. Sage Figure of Speech, we saw effect that overtake in the previous lap. Now, looking to shake off Debo Crocodile, and I'll tell you what, he's done exactly that. Debo did have DRS, it seemed, but he's lost that advantage to Debo. Now a second behind Sage Figure of Speech, who was really putting on another cool and composed performance. Sage Figure of Speech has truly been one of the best drivers this entire season, and that is why they find themselves in P3 in the championship standings on 130 points. Classy driver is Sage Figure of Speech. P3 for Ferrari. Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, currently running P4. And a bit of breathing room between Debo Crocodile and Caboza in 5th. Donifan Laka is trying to make some headway and catch up to the top 5, 3.5 seconds behind Kapoza. Marshy, Zotal's teammate, being cheered on somewhere in Japan by Zotal, is currently P7, with quite a massive gap between themselves and Jonathan Lacka. Billy Hendricks, some earlier issues, earlier tussles and squabbles on track. Sadly saw him lose a lot of momentum early on in this race, currently running 8th with those fresh set of hard tires. Thiago Maestro had also come into the pits for a brand spanking set of hards. Meanwhile, Mfundo and Fensei are the latest contenders to be battling out closely behind Thiago Maestro. What can they do now? All 3 of these contenders have recently come into the pit. This is Fensei, Feeble Crocodile, teammate, confidant, companion, compadre, running currently in P11, so Fensei trying to find their way into the point. Can Fensei apply the pressure on in front of Thiago to make their mistake through these treacherous castle section? The answer is not quite yet. Sid's figure of speech further on ahead of the pack has come into the pit. It seems like Debo Crocodile did not quite bite. Debo Crocodile opting to carry on, so it is a critical couple of laps for Debo Crocodile as Sid's figure of speech looks to effect an effective undercut here relative to Debo Crocodile and, of course, the likes of Kapoza. But when will they come into the pit, that being Debo and Kapoza? Time will tell as we watch this 3-way fight between Thiago Maestro, Mfundo, and Fensei. Thiago Maestro's hard tires will take some time to get into their optimum temperature window. Thiago under duress, under pressure as this 3-way fight builds up tension as they send it screaming towards that initial corner. It's Mfundo on the inside. Mfundo side by side with the Thiago. It's Mfundo ahead of Thiago. And even Fensei got ahead of Thiago there. Beautifully done by the 2 contenders. Thiago's going to fight back, of course. He's not going down without a fight. It's Wednesday action night. Into turn 2 they go. Applying the pressure as Sir Lancelot becomes the second casualty of this race, bringing out the safety car. The safety car is out, and that is fantastic news for the likes of Kapoza and Debo Crocodile, remember, who were on a critical lap after Sid's figure of speech had already come into the pits. I'll tell you what, a standard pit stop around here loses you about 16 seconds of time, and Debo, Kapoza, they will be smiling from ear to ear knowing that Sid's figure of speech, who pitted before the safety car, was going to lose momentum relative, of course, to their prospects. Safety car is out. Sir Lancelot is out. We commiserate with them. Here comes Kapoza, followed, of course, by Kapoza. 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Rookie error by the veteran Kapoza. Debo Crocodile, who I believe was ahead of Kapoza, so something must have happened there to send Kapoza out first. Where is Sid's figure of speech? Is he going to make it ahead of these 2? Oh, what is that? Kapoza sends it straight into the wall and retires from the session. What in the world is going on, Kapoza? First speeding in the pit lane and then just sent it careening into the pit wall. Debo Crocodile, that crucial error which saw them behind Kapoza as they came into the pits. Oh man, Debo Crocodile. Well, I'll tell you what, they are now ahead, so the safety car came out at the perfect time for Debo Crocodile as Kapoza is out of the race, having crashed in the pit lane. Here we go, folks. It is Duke, fresh set of hards, Moteo Mekwa, Debo Crocodile. Those are your top 3. They will bunch up behind the safety car, as will everybody. Sid's figure of speech with a golden opportunity here to find their way minimum onto the podium. And of course, if things go even better for Sid's figure of speech, who knows? It might even be a P2, a possible race win, I dare say. You never know around this treacherous circuit. Jonathan Lacka, P5, fresh hards for them. Billy Hendricks had come in about a lap before the safety car came out. Yeah, it's a chance, of course, of Billy Hendricks also to fight their way into the reckoning for a very, very good position when all is said and done. Mfundo, with 12 laps, E-laps, is on 3-lap old medium tires, but of course, under the safety car, will save those tires. And Fundo currently 7th. Marshy, Zotal's teammate, is 8th. The Nucho, aka Peace, running in 9th, and Fensei is 10th, also having taken a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Thiago Maestro would have hoped to have been much, much further ahead. Opted to ditch those hard tires for a brand new set of mediums. Man Ray is currently 12th. With Capoza having been knocked out, Loveness is 13th. No, Loveness sadly ghosted out. Let's get a sense of just how well the likes of Donovan Laka is doing as they come into the pits. They had gained something like 6 or 7 positions relative to where they started. But of course, Donovan Laka sadly now will lose. Wing change sadly for Donovan Laka, and a brand spanking set of mediums. But you've seen how quick Don is around the circuit, so they'll be feeling fairly confident. Hopefully, if they can keep this P8 spot, which they will. The Nucho was not quite close enough to be able to snatch that P8 from Donovan Laka. If you've just joined us, we're under the safety car here in Azerbaijan, the Baku City Circuit. 13 laps elapsed. It is Duke from Mex from Debo Crocodile at the sharp end of this grid. Sage Figure of Speech currently running 4th, and now with those sequences of pit stops, running line astern with their teammate Billy Hendricks. So Billy back in the reckoning on those medium tires now. Infundo is now in P6. Very decent day for Infundo, all things considered. Marshy 7th, Donovan Laka now 8th, the Nucho 9th, Fence rounds off the points position. Thiago has work to do from P11. Man Ray, a ditto for them. Man Ray really trying to catch up to the pack, as perhaps we'll have one more lap behind the safety car. And hopefully then we will get the word that race control has decided to end the safety car, but lots of running before we get that. Fastest driver on track is the man who put it on pole, 142.216. That was, of course, a Duke. Mex is not too far behind, 42.4. So, separated by very, very small margins are the two championship contenders, really running each other down to the wire. Nucho, the latest to opt to come into the pits, this time for mediums. Nucho, knowing, of course, how far back Man Ray was, they were not threatened. Mex's name is Moteo, M-O-T-H-E-O, Moteo Mekwa. Who's the biggest cheerleader somewhere in South Africa is somebody called Nintendo Wii. There they are, currently P2. Picture of consistency are the likes of Duke, Mex, and indeed Sage Figure of Speech. So very often have those three been at the sharp end of the races. Good day for Infundo. 8 places gained since the start of the day. So, not the best of performances in qualifying for Infundo. But what a beautiful, beautiful result this would be. P6 minimum. Highly experienced, of course, is the Aston Martin Superstar. Work to do to be able to overcome the Ferraris ahead. But if anyone can do it, if anyone can find their way into a feisty fight and a possible set of overtakes, maybe Mfundo will be that person. They've had an interesting year with some freshly minted. He's a freshly minted. With some new, fresh qualifications, fresh set of qualifications for Mfundo in recent times.
I'm qualification like Konanya Babisa is IMA Klima. Yeah, I'm a qualification of Klima Kampunda, blind out today. I'm not a point.
Yes, don't Nayata Mfundo at all at your own peril. Well, the contenders at the front will dictate the pace. When will Mex send it? The answer is now. Mex sends it screaming towards the line. I beg your pardon, Duke, being chased by Mex. Meanwhile, Debo Crocodile, is side by side with Mex. Debo overtakes Mex into turn number 1, but it seemed like he might have jumped the gun, and Debo gets overtaken by Cinch Figure of Speech through that first corner. Oh, Debo goes tumbling down the order, losing a lot of momentum, a lot of ground. Now down out of the podium places. It's pandemonium for Debo. Ignoring the yellow flag, gets penalized heavily. Oh, it's a nightmare scenario for the Red Bull superstar. Cinch Figure of Speech can smell blood. Now has a golden opportunity to have a say on an even better result than they could have possibly imagined. Billy Hendricks now running in that P4 spot. Beautifully done by the two Ferraris, taking advantage of Debo Crocodile, who was way too eager at the restart of this race. This is the vantage point from the back of Cinch Figure of Speech. But, of course, we are looking ahead to see exactly how Cinch Figure of Speech fares in the fight now against Moteo Mekwa, a.k.a. Mex. Meanwhile, in the midfield, it's Mfundo hanging on for dear life in that P5 spot. Debo Crocodile tumbling down the order gave Mfundo all of the momentum. Debo was penalized for being too eager before crossing that safety car restart line, and they were penalized sadly there. Tumbling down the order, Mfundo is in the fight of their life versus Jonathan Laka, who slams the brakes. Oh, plumes of smoke. Someone has lost a wing. It looks like one of the Ferraris ahead. Billy Hendricks might have made a little bit of a contact with the wall, and having lost a piece of their wing. Mfundo would have seen that. Mfundo smells blood, as does Jonathan Laka, as they come screaming past the beautiful camera angle that we got of there. Mfundo, what can you do versus Billy Hendricks now, who has lost a couple of points? Yep, that front right wing end plate gone on the front of that Ferrari. 10 or so laps of racing to go. Cinch Figure of Speech thought about it versus Moteo Mekwa a little bit ahead. It's the battle for P2. As Mex is no longer looking ahead for that race win, but now trying to defend P2, knowing that anything less than P2 puts them at an even worse advantage in that battle for the championship, with Duke already having taken the lead here of the championship standings. Here they come now, screaming towards this second set of left-handers. And Mfundo in the fight of their life. Oh, Mfundo thought about it versus Billy Hendricks, who was not close enough to go for that move. This is the vantage point from Jonathan Laka's perspective. And through these tighter corners, of course, Billy will be struggling for traction. Oh, side by side, they make a little bit of contact. But Mfundo has to relent. He lives to fight another day. Billy Hendricks fighting for their life. Then Marshy has joined the fray behind Jonathan Laka. It's a four-way fight now for P4. It is Ferrari versus Aston Martin versus Williams versus Haas. And of course, Zotal being Zotal is going to be screaming, cheering on Marshy from the other side of the world in Japan. Oh, outbraking themselves, Jonathan Laka, and that car completely loses it. And Marshy says, thank you very much. Jonathan Laka too eager and way too late on the brakes there. Loses momentum, loses a couple of positions. Now has to fight from the vantage point of P7. Marshy will say thank you very much as they look to hunt down Mfundo, who themselves has fallen out of DRS of Billy Hendricks ahead. No front wing end plate for Billy Hendricks, but despite that, doing very well to keep them at bay. Meanwhile, Cinch Figure of Speech has overtaken Mex to claim P2 in lap number 17 of a total 26. And now it's the Ferrari hunting down the championship protagonist, the championship leading man. That is Duke Takar. Work to do for all of these contenders with these laps trickling down towards the conclusion of this race. And I'll tell you what, at the sharp end of the championship, at the sharp end of this race, it is all off and popping. Duke Takar, 2.2 seconds of an advantage between themselves and the P2 running Sige Figure of Speech. Mateo Mekwa hanging on to the coattails of that Ferrari. Work to do, huffing and puffing, trying to make sure that Sige Figure of Speech does not eke out too great an advantage as they now make their way into the treacherous castle section. I'll tell you what, that front ring is fully intact for both these cars. Yep, it looks to be intact for the Ferrari. It looks to be intact for the V-Carb. So now it is a matter of whether or not Mateo Mekwa can keep their wits, can keep their nerve, as the 86er cheers on Sige Figure of Speech, saying, come on, let's win this, let's see how much more we can eke out. So P2, all things considered, is a very, very good day for the Ferrari. Look at that, it is 4 a.m. out in Japan, says the 86er, and there they are watching BrakeAway Racing League with a lot of red eyes and a lot, depriving themselves of sleep as Max really sends it screaming down, getting the cleanest of overtakes, the easiest of overtakes. A slight lock up there, front left of Sige Figure of Speech, but Mateo Mekwa just reclaims that P2 spot. So these two just passing the baton from the one driver to the other. Marshy versus Billy Hendricks versus Mfundo. Oh, as we hop on board with Mfundo, he breaks himself and really almost sent it careening into the wall, loses all that ground, and there goes Donovan Lanka side by side, overtakes Mfundo. Marshy versus Billy Hendricks. Marshy on the inside. These two almost make contact, and Billy Hendricks comes off second best. Billy Hendricks sent it into the wall, and it looks like someone else has crashed. Is that Sir Lancelot? No, it's just another yellow flag. Billy Hendricks goes tumbling down the order. Oh, it was a set of identical overtakes. Donovan Laka and Mfundo there. Marshy now up to P4. Well. We just came back 4 o'clock in Japan, says Slee in the comments section. Let's go, teammate, says Zotal. It is the Nucho who just crashed out, bringing out the virtual safety car in this 18th lap around the Baku City Circuit. Pandemonium in Baku. Well. Donovan Laka made that huge mistake after the first safety car restart. Can they hold their nerve? Mfundo was P5 at some point. Work to do for the veteran Aston Martin superstar. Thiago, slowly but surely, having started at the back of the pack, has clawed their way up to P8 now. Work to do for all of these contenders. Under the virtual safety car, sadly, the Nucho becomes the 4th casualty of this race under the virtual safety car. Now, I'll tell you what, 3 of these guys coming into the pits, Mfundo, Debo Crocodile, and Thiago, interestingly, under the virtual safety car. Meanwhile, Duke has lost a lot of ground under the virtual safety car. 86er reckons that Sige Figure of Speech should have pitted for softs, but they've opted to keep track position out here. Still under the virtual safety car. Thiago has taken the 86ers' advice, as has the veteran Manry, along with a change of wing down in P10. Fense far behind to be able to threaten Manry's current position. Billy Hendricks, brand new mediums. Debo Crocodile, brand new mediums for the Red Bull as well. Thiago Maestro fits a set of softs, as of course was the sage advice there from the 86er. Fense also on the softs, having just come into the pits. And as we wait for this race to be restarted, it is going to be Duke versus Mex versus Sige Figure of Speech. And it seems that even Marshy has caught up. But it was a VSC, folks. It's a full safety car around here. So we will now see how these contenders will fare. Pandemonium in Baku. Well. Peace, aka the Nucho, not too infused with the driving today. Commiserations for the Nucho there. With a diminished field and these treacherous conditions, may have been in contention for a decent finish out here. Duke, Mex, Sage Figure of Speech, running in the order in which they currently occupy the Drivers' Championship standings. Marshy, P4. What a day that will be for the Haas driver. Look at that. Thiago, now the biggest mover of the day since the start of tonight's proceedings, having started all the way at the back, now running P7. Marshy, also among the big movers. 6 positions gained alongside the likes of Donathan Laka. Watch Donathan Laka very, very carefully throughout the rest of this race. They seem to really enjoy their progress around this track. Billy Hendricks should have pit, so says the Nucho in the comment section. 2 stops for each of Marshy, Donathan Laka, and Mfundo. 4 stops for Thiago Maestro. So having taken some damage, and of course, the fact that they're currently P7, testament, of course, to the chaotic nature of this race so far. Thiago with 4 stops, still finding themselves in the points is extraordinary indeed. Debo Crocodile, sadly, making that mistake at the restart after the recent safety car, jumping the gun and getting heavily penalized. Seems that they also came back into the pits to serve the time penalty that they were given for speeding under the yellow flag conditions. Billy Hendricks, 9th, Man Rate 10th. Fensei Loveness, or the Ghost of Loveness, would have had a chance to have a say here in these final few laps. So fingers crossed that we will not be seeing any more incidents, crashes, skirmishes, which would necessitate another safety car. This particular corner has been really treacherous. We saw Loveness, or rather Donathan Laka, have a huge moment trying not to send it into the wall. Mfundo, fresh set of mediums. Brilliant possible condition for them as the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So says Race Control. Once again, we watch with bated breath to see when and how Duke will send us racing once again. This is the vantage point from Sage Figure of Speech. Everybody weaving left and the right, trying to work a little bit of temperature into those tires. When will Duke send it? Mix, giving nothing away, leaving nothing to chance. When will Duke send it? Now is the answer. And there they go, screaming towards turn number 1. That might not be close enough to effect some overtakes. Oh, Marshy breaking themselves almost. Makes contact with the back of the Ferrari. But Marshy cangs it on and keeps it going in that P4 spot. Donathan Laka in P5, looking to apply the pressure. And Sage Figure of Speech goes up and overtakes Mex on the outside of that first corner. Now up to P2, but can they hang on? Mex under pressure from Marshy behind, who's currently running in P4. Marshy looking to claim a decent haul of points for Team Haas here today, as Duke is keeping that advantage and hanging on to P1 by a factor of about a second. Sage Figure of Speech huffing and puffing, trying to hunt down the championship leader. What a beautiful day for Ferrari if they can keep this going. Oh, Max had a little bit of a twitch coming out of the exit of that particular corner, but he keeps it going. Marshy is now under pressure still from Donathan Laka, trying not to see that car twitching and losing the rear at all. Now into the treacherous part of the castle section. They're all running line astern, no one really making contact with the walls in a treacherous manner. On board we go with Donathan Laka, less than 0.3 of a second at some point between themselves and Marshy. It looks like Sage Figure of Speech is struggling to stay in touch with the race leader. Oh, Donathan Laka sends it into the wall! Again at the same place of the track we had an issue earlier on, and here comes Mfundo taking advantage of the Williams' mistake, and he goes wide, and here comes, oh no, Thiago Maestro takes a huge advantage, and Fundo comes off second best, having been crashed into there, and Fundo's wing is completely totaled as we now look to catch up to see how these guys fare, and Fundo sadly quitting out of this race, bringing out another virtual safety car. It is breathless action, and Fundo will be absolutely livid the way that Thiago and it seems Donovan Lacka made contact with them. Donovan Lacka having had to come into the pits now under the virtual safety car. That moment of contact between themselves and Fundo. Remember, Donovan Lacka made that mistake, and Fundo was taking advantage. And it seemed as Donovan Lacka was trying to recover there, they made contact with Fundo, which left the Aston Martin Superstar in a hugely compromised position. Pit stop for Donovan Lacka, but sadly fitting on 10-lap old used mediums. Sadly for them, it is pretty much one and done there. Let's go back now under the virtual safety car conditions. Christopher Sakal, M-Keys, crash is in the comments section. Billy Hendricks penalized for speeding under the safety car conditions. Meanwhile, Duke, Stitch, Figure of Speech, and next, that is the fight at the sharp end of this grid, which will be resumed. Marshy is set here to be challenging for an absolutely sensational result. Remember, as far as the championship is concerned, Mex does not want to lose further ground to Duke, who has only recently overtaken them to be the leader in this championship. That's the corner, which has been also treacherous throughout this race here today. Marshy doing oh so well, but under an insane amount of pressure from Thiago Maestro. Now, here they go, completing that the middle sector, beginning the final one. It is Duke on the limit. Duke slaloming through these fast corners. Duke sending it screaming down towards the main straight and towards the line to begin what would be the 23rd of a total 26 lap. Duke weaving to the left and to the right down the main straight, trying to get some temperature into those tires. Here comes Mex versus Stitch, Figure of Speech, a battle which has been raging on throughout this race. Mex tried to go for it, but did not have enough. Stitch, Figure of Speech slams the door shut on Mateo Mekwa. Meanwhile, Thiago Maestro is trying to get a bite of the cherry in this battle for these podium places. Thiago has soft tires. Thiago has momentum. Thiago has the outside line versus Marshy, who has huffed and puffed on those 11-lap old medium tires. Meanwhile, Thiago on the outside will make a little bit of contact, but was also treacherous there. But it seems Marshy could not keep the McLaren at bay. Try as they might, as it's a disadvantage over here, as Mateo Mekwa has once again been overtaken by Stitch, Figure of Speech. It is breathless action in these remaining 4 laps, this one included, to conclude this Azerbaijan Grand Prix here at the Baku City Circuit. Duke from Stitch, Figure of Speech, from Mex, all running within a second of one another, and now on a set of soft tires with a huge offset. Oh, it's Thiago Maestro who has to catch that snap of oversteer coming through those slower corners. Thiago, best not overdrive. You best hold on to your nerve. He's used up so much of his battery, has Thiago, trying to catch up to these front runners. Oh, Thiago trying to find a way through those plumes of tire smoke that are being kicked up ahead of them. A golden opportunity for the McLaren Superstar here to, at the very least, find a way onto the podium. Just a couple of laps to go. It will be 3 laps of racing to go once they cross the line here. Work to do for each of these contenders. Meanwhile, Billy Hendricks is side by side with Marshy, who has tried really to get a decent result. They bang wheels a little bit, and Marshy slips down to P6. Oh, Fence goes through, and sadly, Marshy now down to P7. Oh, Billy Hendricks is now fighting it out with Fence, but it's a fastest lap for Fence, but not quite close enough to overtake the Superstar Ferrari. Marshy is not going down without a fight. It's Wednesday action night. Oh, no! It looks like Fence came off second best there through that second corner, losing all the momentum, all the ground, and now Marshy is back up to P6. Crazy stuff. Back up to the sharp end of this race we go. Stitch, Figure of Speech versus Mex. Mateo Mekwa, who has been huffing and puffing, trying to make sure that at the very least he makes it a P2 finish so as to not lose ground in the championship standings. Just a couple of laps of racing still to go. It is Duke still in control, in command of this race here in Azerbaijan. Another peerless performance by the McLaren Superstar. Now to the castle section they go, trying not to make acquaintance with those walls which seem to be calling your car and calling your front wing end plate. But not so the case for Stitch, Figure of Speech. and Moteo Mekwa rages on, does this battle as the yellow flag was called and eventually gets reestablished to green on another section of the track. Duke Sakar eking out a tiny gap by a factor of a couple of tenths with each looming corner. Duke Sakar with another controlled performance, managing to gallop on ahead of these two contenders. Sitch Figure of Speech has been put under an immense amount of pressure by so many contenders throughout the course of this race. The likes of Debo was involved at some point. The likes of Caboza was involved at some point. But they all fell by the wayside as Sitch Figure of Speech made all that experience count. And at this particular point in time, despite keeping Mex at bay, it seems that he is managing to inch closer and closer to the back of Duke Sakar. I do wonder if Duke is content to give Sitch Figure of Speech a little bit of slipstream so as to ensure that Mex does not get that P2 spot and by extension not trim that gap down as far as the championship standings are concerned. This is Thiago Maestro with the front row seat for this battle, essentially for the race win. What can Thiago do? 6-lap-old soft tires around this circuit, which can be a punishing circuit, mind you. Just a couple of laps still to go. This is the penultimate lap. And Moteo Mekwa looking for the tiniest of openings. Now in towards the castle section. Oh, so treacherous. Thiago can almost smell the fumes coming off the back of that V-carb. Oh, close enough to be able to see the beads of sweat coming out from underneath the helmet of Moteo Mekwa. Within half a second, while Mex himself is within 0.3 of a second. It's going to be so tight into this treacherous left-hander, but they all three of them come through unscathed. Thiago, Sitch Figure of Speech, Moteo Mekwa putting on a huge show as Thiago loses it through that slow left-hander and loses ground to the battle for those podium places. Thiago with an unforced error there, now finding themselves a second and a half behind these contenders. Now, red light flashing for Sitch Figure of Speech. Battery depleted from Moteo Mekwa. Side by side they go to begin the final lap of this race. Moteo Mekwa will begin the 26th revolution around the Baku City Circuit in P2 as Duke Sakar is still in firm control and command of this race. There goes Duke now, about almost 2 seconds ahead of these two would-be contenders for the race win. On board we go with Sitch Figure of Speech. Just 11 drivers remaining, 10 if you discount the Ghost of Tasso, aka Loveness. It's the final lap around the Baku City Circuit as Kid K responds to the action that we've seen here in this sensationally entertaining race. Sitch Figure of Speech has put on a titanic showing out here in the Baku City Circuit, as has been the case, of course, throughout this entire season. Beautifully performed by all three of these contenders. Duke must DNF. So praise Kid K in the comments section. But Duke Pink Duke will not make life easy. Oh, as Sitch Figure of Speech almost made too much of an acquaintance there with those walls in the castle section. And he best be careful, as, of course, he had to really slam the brakes there, did Sitch Figure of Speech. He lost that momentum to Moteo Mekwa, and that gap now is out of DRS as far as Sitch Figure of Speech is concerned. 1.2 seconds. Oh, really having to catch the rear of that car. What a show, reacts Kid K. A beautifully entertaining showcase indeed we have seen here at the Baku City Circuit, and a word of applause, a word of appreciation. We tap our hats and our caps to the superstar Duke, who has been imperious, peerless once again around the Baku City Circuit, and it's another win for the McLaren superstar, who sets a fastest lap in the ultimate lap of this race. Moteo Mekwa comes home in P2. Sitch Figure of Speech does really well to claim the final podium spot. Thiago recovers to P4. Fence P5. Man Ray will come home in P6. Marshy fought really hard to claim that P7 spot under pressure from Billy Hendricks towards the end. P8 for the Ferrari superstar. Donathan Laka, P9. Those mistakes costing them dearly. Here comes Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, with DRS down towards the line. Can Debo make it a grandstand finish here? Will Donathan Laka be able to defend? They go side by side. It's Debo overtaking Donathan Laka at the death. And what a sensational finish to this race we have here. My voice is gone. Debo Crocodile at the death, claiming P9. Thiago Maestro named driver of the day here by the race. Well done, stage figure of speech. Amoteo Mekwa, says the 86er in the comment section. Whew, breathless stuff. What a sensational showcase in this incredibly entertaining, topsy-turvy BrakeAway Racing League All-Star race. It is Duke who is triumphant once again here in this sensational season for the McLaren Superstar. Our three podium finishes take the plaudits, take the applause, as they toast a fine performance. And there you have it, folks. That was the 13th showcase of this BrakeAway Racing League season. Beautifully done by all our protagonists. And that will be that. Jonathan Lacka claims a single point. Sadly, Tato Loveness network issues preventing them from having a say in the points. Well, thank you very much, folks. It's been sensational having you along here in this showpiece event. We will be seeing you soon. Thank you very much to everyone in the comment section. Tiago, the 86er, Kid K, Zotal, Slee, as well as the likes of Crash, of course, who was in the comment section. Man Ray was here earlier. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. We will catch you once again next week, 8 p.m. Central African time, for another sensational showcase. Thank you and good night.